Have you ever wondered how a tiny cashew turns into your favorite snack? Did you know each cashew grows on a fruit that looks like a little apple? Join us on a fun journey from cashew farms in the Ivory Coast to cool machines that turn these nuts into tasty treats. Hi there. Welcome to our fun journey into the world of cashews. Today, we're going to explore how these tiny nuts grow on special trees, how hardworking farmers pick them, and how cool machines help turn them into the snacks we love. You'll see amazing cashew farms in the Ivory Coast, where nature and technology come together. Get ready to learn some surprising secrets about cashews and find out how every little nut makes a big difference. The Ivory Coast is a country in West Africa, and it's the world's biggest producer of cashews. Picture huge fields filled with leafy trees, each branch growing tiny cashew fruits. Every year, farmers here grow around 1 million tons of cashews. That's almost 1/5 of all the cashews in the entire world. Over 600,000 families depend on these little nuts for their income. By planting, caring for, and harvesting cashews, they can afford food, housing, and even school for their children. In many parts of the Ivory Coast, cashew farming brings hope and new opportunities, helping whole villages grow and thrive. The country's warm climate and long sunny days are perfect for cashew trees. Rainy seasons give the soil the water it needs, while the sun helps the cashew fruits ripen. Farmers and their families often work together, men, women, and even kids after school to collect the fallen nuts. Then, they sell these cashews to factories that turn them into the tasty snacks we know and love. Just think, every time you enjoy a handful of cashews, you're also tasting the hard work and dedication of people who live in the Ivory Coast. It's pretty cool to know that a small nut can make a big difference in so many lives. And this is why the Ivory Coast really is a superhero in the world of cashew farming. Enjoying this journey so far? Don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating stories from the world of farming and technology. Now that we know the Ivory Coast is famous for growing cashews, let's see what it takes to plant and care for these special trees. Cashew trees love warm, sunny places and soil that isn't too wet or too dry. Farmers often use sandy loam soil which lets water drain well so the roots don't get soggy. They also check the soil's pH, a little number that tells us if the ground is too acidic or too basic. Cashew trees do best when the pH is between 5.5 and 7. If it's too high or too low, the trees might not grow well. That's why farmers test the soil before planting their seeds. When the seeds are ready, farmers plant them during the rainy season. They space the trees about 26 feet apart, so each tree has enough room to spread its branches and get plenty of sunshine. As the seedlings grow, farmers keep an eye out for pests, little bugs that might harm the trees, and make sure the soil stays healthy. Even though it can take a few years for cashew trees to start producing nuts, it's worth the wait. With the right care, each tree can give us lots of cashews for many years. So, the next time you munch on a cashew, remember all the hard work that goes into choosing the best soil, planting the seeds, and giving these trees the perfect home to grow strong and fruitful. After planting cashew seeds in healthy soil, farmers spend years caring for these young trees until they're strong enough to produce nuts. One of the first jobs is to make sure the soil drains well so the roots don't get soaked. Too much water can make the roots rot, so farmers often dig small channels around each tree to help guide extra water away. As the cashew trees grow taller, farmers check them for pests, small bugs or worms that might munch on the leaves and flowers. If they spot any trouble, they might use natural methods, like introducing good bugs that eat the harmful ones or gentle sprays that won't hurt the environment. They also trim away dead or broken branches, which can attract insects and diseases. Around December to February, cashew trees start to bloom with clusters of tiny flowers that can be pink or white. This is an exciting time because these flowers will turn into cashew fruits. Bees and other insects help the flowers turn into fruit by carrying pollen from one flower to another. Farmers know that if the trees have lots of flowers, there's a better chance of getting a big crop of nuts later on. But it isn't just about water, pests, and flowers. Cashew trees also need the right mix of sunlight and nutrients. Many farmers add compost or natural fertilizers to the soil, giving the roots extra vitamins and minerals. This helps the trees grow strong trunks and leafy canopies, which will protect the blossoms from harsh sunlight or heavy rains. It can take 3 or 4 years before a young cashew tree starts producing its first nuts, and about 8 to 12 years before it's at its very best. Even though that seems like a long wait, it's part of the journey that makes each cashew so special. With the right care, regular watering, pruning, and a watchful eye, these trees will bloom year after year, bringing us plenty of delicious cashews to enjoy. By the time cashew fruits are ripe, you can see them hanging under small, colorful apples that sometimes fall to the ground when they're ready. Harvesting cashews is very hands-on because each piece of fruit only has one nut attached. Imagine collecting hundreds or even thousands of these little nuts every day. Farmers usually walk through the orchard in the early morning when it's cooler and carefully pick up the fallen fruits. If some fruits are still hanging high up, they use long poles to gently shake the branches so the ripe ones drop without getting bruised. This might seem slow compared to giant machines that harvest other crops, but it's important to handle cashews gently so they don't get damaged. Once the fruits are gathered, farmers separate the nuts from the apple part. Even though the nut is the main star, the apple isn't wasted. People in some regions make sweet jams or drinks from the cashew apple, which has a fruity, tangy taste. This way, almost nothing goes to waste. It takes teamwork to collect all these cashews. Families often help each other, and sometimes entire communities come together during harvest season. Children might lend a hand after school, learning to spot the perfect ripe fruits and gently remove each nut. At the end of the day, farmers carry big bags of cashews to storage areas, proud of what they've accomplished. So the next time you pop a cashew into your mouth, remember the careful, patient work behind each little nut, and how families in places like the Ivory Coast rely on these harvests for both food and income. Once farmers harvest the cashews, the next big step is turning these freshly picked nuts into the crunchy snacks we love. First, the nuts are laid out in the sun for a few days to dry. This helps remove extra moisture so they don't spoil later. Imagine rows and rows of cashews spread out like little pebbles, soaking up the warm sunlight. After drying, the nuts are cleaned to wash away any dirt or tiny rocks. Once they're squeaky clean, it's time for roasting. By heating the nuts at just the right temperature, processors make the shells easier to crack open. Roasting also gives cashews that delicious, nutty flavor. Enjoying our behind-the-scenes look at how cashews become your favorite snack? Don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us share more cool stories from the world of food and farming. Next comes shelling. In the past, people did this by hand, which took a lot of time and hard work. Now, there are special machines that can shell hundreds of kilograms of cashews every hour. These machines grab each nut, gently crack the shell, and pop out the tasty kernel inside. It's amazing to watch technology do such a tricky job so quickly. But be careful. The shell of a cashew contains oils that can irritate your skin. Here is a fun fact. The oil inside cashew shells is related to the same chemical found in poison ivy, so handling them with bare hands can be dangerous. That's another reason why machines are so helpful. They keep workers safe from these oils. After the kernels are freed from their shells, they're sorted by size and shape. Some might be whole, while others are broken pieces. Both kinds are used in different types of snacks, sweets, and cooking recipes. Finally, the cashews are ready to be packed, shipped, and shared with people all around the world. From sun-drying to high-tech shelling machines, each step helps make sure the cashews arrive fresh, tasty, and ready to enjoy. Once the cashews have been shelled and sorted, it's time to make sure they're safe to eat and taste great. Factories often use special machines to check for any broken shells or pieces of dirt that might have slipped through. Cashews need just the right amount of moisture. Too wet and they can spoil. Too dry and they lose flavor. That's why workers measure the cashew's moisture level very carefully. After they pass these tests, many cashews are roasted again or even seasoned with flavors like salt, honey, or spices. This gives them that extra crunch and taste we all love. Then, the nuts are packed into bags or tins. Some bags have special seals that suck out the air, helping the cashews stay fresh for a long time. Others are packed in big sacks and sent to stores or restaurants around the world. But there's more to the cashew fruit than just the seed we eat. The juicy cashew apple can be turned into jams, juices, or even a fruity drink. In some places, people use the oil from cashew shells for things like paint or varnish. It's pretty amazing how almost every part of this fruit finds a use. Now that we've learned all about cashews, let's see how they compare to another popular nut, the macadamia. Macadamia nuts have one of the hardest shells of any nut. That means special machines even stronger than those used for cashews are needed to crack them open. Just like cashews, they also like warm, sunny places to grow, but you often find macadamia farms in places like Hawaii, Australia, and parts of Africa. Macadamias have a creamy, buttery taste, while cashews are known for being slightly sweet and softer. Both are packed with nutrients like healthy fats, vitamins, and minerals. But macadamias usually have more monounsaturated fat, which is the kind of fat that can be good for your heart when eaten in moderation. Cashews, on the other hand, have a balance of good fats, plus protein and other minerals that help our bodies stay strong. When it comes to harvesting, macadamia farmers sometimes use tree shakers to knock the nuts to the ground, while cashew farmers often pick the fruits by hand or gently shake the branches. Processing is different too. Macadamia shells are extremely tough, so farmers need special cracking machines that use more force than those used for cashews. Meanwhile, cashew shells have irritating oils that require careful handling or protective machines. So, even though both nuts are delicious and nutritious, they have their own unique growing methods, tastes, and processing steps. Whether you prefer the creaminess of macadamias or the sweetness of cashews, it's amazing to see how nature makes each nut special in its own way. We've just taken a fun journey through the world of cashews, from tiny seeds in the Ivory Coast to the crunchy snacks we enjoy. If you like discovering how nature and technology bring us these tasty nuts, don't forget to hit subscribe so you can join us on more behind-the-scenes adventures in farming and food. Stay curious, stay inspired, and we'll see you next time.